thank you, Hazem. It's a delight to be introduced by Hazem. As many of you know, he's such a generous friend and contributor to the university, serving in a variety of capacities. And I want to not inventory all of that because Hazem, as my teammate in putting this program together, has emphasized the importance of staying on track and keeping a schedule. So Hazem, I appreciate you, all the things you do for the university, and in particular tonight, really working closely with me to develop this program. And by the way, when I say closely, I mean Hazem's the type that invites you to his office, looks at preliminary versions, flow charts, slides, and is always positive while constantly improving it. So I would just like to give a round of applause to Hazem, my teammates. I also want to thank all of you for coming. It's great for me to stand up here, a little bit of nervousness, but a lot of comfort in looking out and seeing the people that I work with, the people that are friends and supporters of the school, some of whom will be mentioned tonight in my comments. It's nice to see the community come together, the community outside of the University of California, the administrative community. The Chancellor, by the way, is going to be arriving a little late, the Vice Chancellor and Provost tonight, my colleagues in social ecology. It's nice to see so many of you, the graduate students that shown up, and the friends of social ecology, many of whom are here tonight. As Dean of the school, what I want to do is play MC tonight and do a couple things. I want to first and foremost showcase the school. Earlier in a meeting, the Chancellor kept talking about the importance of creating a vibe, and I liked that language a lot. This was at a meeting right before this meeting. If I create a vibe about social ecology tonight, we will have done our job. I also want to walk you through just glimpses of what we do, how we do it, and why it's so special. I also want to try to engage you tonight in numerous ways, and to begin with, I just want to engage you with some images. So I'm going to start right off the bat with a montage. And as I show you this montage, I would ask you one question. What do the images in this montage have in common? That's the question as we roll it. We start with this montage as a quick way of introducing you to some of the work being done in the School of Social Ecology and the range of work being done in the school. Whether the focus is on, as you saw, global peace and security, intergroup conflict, environmental health, urban planning and sustainability, crime and justice, and its flip side, miscarriages of justice, human development and aging, mental health, or in large terms, inequality and life chances more generally. All of these images are relevant to the work being done in the School of Social Ecology. In fact, these images were provided by the faculty. When we were preparing tonight's program, we asked the faculty to send in images that they thought encapsulated the importance of the work they're doing in terms of, as the provost explained, the mission of the land-grant institution. There were many, many more images that were forthcoming. These are just a sampling. There were many, many more themes we could have put in that montage. Turns out our videographer charges by the published minute at the end of the montage, so we had to cut it short at the 2.5-minute mark. For me, what these images do, and what I want to try to convey tonight, is that they relate to, and I think make visual, the main mission of the School of Social Ecology. And I want to share with you our mission. Our mission, in the most succinct terms, is to conduct research and educate students to analyze research and policy questions from a broad ecological perspective that integrates multiple disciplines and links basic theory and research with community problem solving. Again, I think that mission is very consistent with the provost's opening comments about a public university and about the specific mission of a land-grant institution. For us, this multifaceted commitment goes all the way back to the early 1970s when Arnold Binder, the founder of the School of Social Ecology, put forth a proposal to establish what was then a program in social ecology that was both in tune with the times and in many ways ahead of its times. This proposal for a program in social ecology was in tune with the times because in the early 70s, there was a growing quest among students and scholars and community members and people who funded the university for research and training programs that were relevant to societal problems. Now, of course, it's common to hear terms like research, action-oriented research, problem-based research, use-inspired research. There's a whole bunch of terms people now use to really capture this idea that research should be purpose-driven. Now, the school, you see on the other side here today, the School of Social Ecology was also ahead of its times back in the 70s because of the relative lack of academic units at major research universities that were committed to interdisciplinary research, and by committed I mean at the structural level, and that were committed to emphasizing the value of societal problem solving and an ecological perspective. I'll say more about an ecological perspective here in a minute. From my point of view, this is what made social ecology, what's said on the Today brochure, a bold adventure. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the subtitle there on the second one. This bold adventure, beginning in the 1970s and continuing on to this moment, really requires resisting an exclusive focus on unidisciplinary research that fails to fully account for the changing environmental and social contexts in which our problems emerge, take shape, and impact our lives. As this slide illustrates, an ecological or contextual approach attends to multiple influences among multiple structures and processes, psychological, organizational, societal, indeed global and international. There's been an expansion of this type of what I call social ecological systems science in the latter part of the 20th century. As you can see from this slide, in some ways social ecology was well ahead of its times, if you put the 1970s on the left horizontal. And now, of course, there's been an increase, and this is just a quick measure of the number of publications that use social ecological science. So what I want to do by way of quick history is to suggest that this school was in sync with the times and indeed ahead of the times. It was also in sync and ahead of the times because of its commitment to both basic research as well as community problem solving. My hope is that many of you had a chance to see some of the posters around the room that really reveal the multitude of ways that we try to take our research into the community and engage with some of the most persistent social ills of our times. Now, fast forward in time, the School of Social Ecology at this point in time is home to 3 departments, 3 nationally ranked departments: the Department of Criminology, Law and Society, the Department of Policy, Planning and Design, Planning, Policy and Design, and the Department of Psychology and Social Behavior. When you put these departments together in a school, what you get is a compelling nexus for cross-disciplinary or interdisciplinary work that leads to all sorts of interesting questions and interesting ways of viewing basic and social problems types, issues, and questions. And tonight what we're going to do is showcase a plethora of examples of how we approach this nexus. By way of describing the school a little further, we're also home to 9 research centers, including 4 school-based centers, the Center for Evidence-Based Corrections, and you're going to hear about that tonight in a video. The Community Outreach Partnership Program, we have a poster in the back that reveals some things about that. The Center for Psychology and Law, which Beth Loftus, I saw Beth was here earlier tonight, directs, and the Social Ecology Research Center. Likewise, we're home to 5 campus centers: the Center for Community Development Studies, a recently renamed center, the Center for Law, Society and Culture, the Center for Organizational Research, the Center for Unconventional Security Affairs, which you will hear more about tonight in our program, and the Newkirk Center for Science and Society, directed by Joe Demento, Social Ecology faculty and law school faculty. At this point, what I'd like to do is just pause and give recognition where recognition's due. The most immediate past dean, Ron Huff, deserves an incredible amount of credit for the development of these many centers. Ron, if you'd stand up and just be recognized. I was going to do this, but he knows I keep and cite email in public, so I can't believe he still responds to my email. I wrote Ron a few days ago, and I said, Ron, did we have any centers when you started? And he wrote back, when I arrived in 1999, social ecology had no formal centers, only a few focused research groups. I provided some seed money and set a goal of establishing 10 centers during my tenure as dean because I strongly believe in research that is collaborative and cuts across disciplinary boundaries and centers as the best way to do the social ecology mission. So I want to recognize the institution building that Ron did as dean, and I also want to put forward these centers as the structure that in some ways represents the mission, just as that nexus of the 3 departments represents the mission. Now, Ron's the only person I email with who writes these full-blown paragraph emails, even on his Palm Pilot. There's a quicker way to think, BlackBerry. There's a quicker way to think about this. Victor Bracera, the director of the Community Outreach Partnership Center, and I saw Victor was here tonight. Victor, where are you? Okay. Would you stand up, Victor, because you gave me this quote. Thanks, Victor. Victor directs our, thanks, Victor. Well, you can sit down now. Victor directs our Community Outreach Partnership Center, again, one of the centers that engages with the community and fulfills the civic engagement mission of the school. And he recently alerted me to another way of talking about these centers and talking about this nexus. Victor, forever the team player, brought me a big brochure that Wesleyan University put out and said, look at this, there's a lot of great quotes in there, Val. And he was right. In that, they say the space between disciplines are the stomping grounds of innovation. And I thank you for that, Victor, because that's a good way to describe social ecology. I like to think of social ecology as a stomping ground for interdisciplinarity, innovation, the best research, basic and applied, and civic engagement.